So you're thinking about moving to Hendersonville, Tennessee. Well, in this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about Hendersonville, Tennessee, and the proximity to downtown and its location and where it's sitting. And if you stick around to the end, I'm also going to share a couple cool things with you about Hendersonville. And with all that being said, we're getting after it right now. Welcome back to another video, everyone. So if you're new to the channel and you love content on living in Nashville and buying and selling real estate here in the Nashville, Tennessee and surrounding areas, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We got new content coming out all the time. You definitely don't want to miss out. And if you're thinking about moving to Nashville, Tennessee, if you're one of those people, shoot me a phone call, shoot me a text or email. As a real estate agent, we have tons of people calling us all the time. And if you're one of those people, I would love to help you make that transition to Middle Tennessee here as smooth as possible. So with all that being said, let's jump on into the map and check out Hendersonville, Tennessee. Here we go. So welcome to the map here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And there's a few things that I want to show you. If we look at the map here, and I'm going to switch between a couple of maps, and I'm really going to dive in deep and kind of show you proximity from Hendersonville to downtown to the airport, all that great stuff. So let's dive on in and check it out. Here we go. So if I'm looking here at this one, I'm going to cross out of this. We're going to go ahead. We're just going to type in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So before we start jumping into the location of where Hendersonville is and how far it is from downtown, actually, I want to give you a little outline of Hendersonville and kind of show you how big Hendersonville really is in terms of what there is to offer in terms of, like, if you're looking to buy a home, man, there are tons of options to choose from in Hendersonville at a really, really great price, and you're not in a bad location. So let's dive on in. So if you can see from the outline, I just typed in Hendersonville, and Hendersonville is known for a lot of history. It's been around for years and years, but it really didn't become popular till really just recently, you know. And so if we look over here, and you can see the lines of Hendersonville, it's a pretty big area, and there's a main road that kind of shoots from the downtown area. There's a bunch of residential, bunch of lake houses, a bunch of stuff that we're going to dive into. But before we dive into that, I wanted to give you an outline of what Hendersonville is. So we're going to go ahead and to the left over here, we're going to slide and type in directions from, we're going to say, let's go to downtown area. So from downtown, we're about 27 minutes. Typically, it's about 25 minutes. So you're really not too much difference, 27, 28, 30 minutes. And that's right now with traffic. And as it gets closer to rush hour, whether it be 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening coming from downtown going home, or it be 7:30, 8 in the morning coming from Hendersonville going to downtown. Typically, everyone lives in the suburbs and they work downtown, and then they travel to work and then they travel home. So that's really the biggest times of day where there's going to be a huge rush hour. But other than that, you're about 25, 30 minutes, you know, away from downtown. Now, if there is traffic, I would say traffic puts you at about 45 minutes to an hour. It could be longer. It just depends exactly. If there's a big accident or something huge, you know, that could put you a little bit longer. But like I was saying, typically an hour, 45 minutes, you know, is what you're looking coming home or going to downtown from where you're sitting. So really not too far away. So we're going to cross out of downtown right here, and we're going to actually go ahead and choose the airport. And I want to talk about this. So where Hendersonville is in its location, again, if you live in Hendersonville and you work downtown, you're about 30 minutes. If you fly out, if you do a lot of business stuff and you're constantly in and out of town and you're to the airport all the time, you're about 30 minutes away as well. Really not that much difference compared to downtown. So 30 minutes really from the two main areas that most people typically either they work downtown or they fly in and out often. And again, 30 minutes is on a good day. If you have a lot of traffic, as you can see, we have a little bit of traffic coming right here, which is really adding about 4 or 5 minutes. Not a whole lot, but 22 miles, not a lot of distance. You know, you're pretty in a good location. Now, I do want to say that this is Hendersonville right here on the downtown side. So if you live, let's say, right up in here or up on the lake, you know, you're going to have to travel out of the cove a little bit out of the plateau, and you're going to have to move, you know, into the highway up over and go all the way around. So that's going to add a little bit of time, and that could be anywhere from 35, 40 minutes, you know, up to an hour, again, depending on traffic. It really just depends where you live in, where you're sitting, the traffic, if there's a big accident, if there's not, what time of day, all that great stuff comes into effect. So anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes an hour from the airport, from downtown. So yeah, that's the two main things that I want to show you in terms of the location. If we scroll out a little bit, you can see kind of where Hendersonville really sits. So this right here, this is going to be Old Hickory Lake or Cumberland River. It's going to come through, and you have Percy Lake down here, which is another great option. Personally, this is my favorite lake in terms of like taking the boat out, taking my jet ski out, because you really don't have logs just floating in the middle of the lake. So if you're flying through the lake, there's a less chance of risk of you damaging your boat or damaging someone else's livelihood. So for me, that's the go-to. But I will say there is a few cons of Percy Lake versus Old Hickory Lake. So Old Hickory Lake might be an option for you. And let me explain. What I mean is Percy Lake, if you live in this area, you can't build a dock right up onto the water. Versus Old Hickory right over here, if you have a dock or if you have a home and you buy some land over here, you can literally build a dock so that you walk out your back door and you jump on your boat and you're right there on the lake. So if you don't live in either of these areas, and let's say you live, way out, let's say you live in Goodlettsville or you live somewhere else, or even if you do live here and you just want to take your boat to a really nice set of waters, go ahead and dock your boat and then launch it right here in Percy Lake for a day or two. You can rent a dock so you can actually leave your boat overnight. You can camp out. There's a lot of great stuff going for you in Percy Lake. So again, just a few options for you. So let's dive on into what Hendersonville actually is. I'm going to take my base map here and I'm going to set this back to, I'm going to take it out of satellite view and just take it out and put it back to standard view. Let's zoom out a little bit. So like I said, we have Nashville, we have Hendersonville. It sits right up on this little like high plateau north of the Cumberland River, or AKA Old Hickory Lake. So let's dive on in deep and I'm going to show you from some commercial areas to some residential areas, just a few options of what you have and really what Hendersonville has to offer. And again, these might be an option for you, this might not be an option for you, and that's really why we're going into this video and kind of really diving deep and telling you, what really Hendersonville has to offer. So if we look right here, this yellow line coming in right here, not this top one, but this bottom one right here that cuts all the way through, this is going to be the 31 East. This is going to be, so there's a couple things about this road. This road, not the most convenient way to get to Hendersonville, again, because the highway is going to be a lot faster. You don't have any stoplights, etc. But if you wanted to go through downtown, this road, Main Street, which is going to be the main road in downtown Hendersonville, from the post office to all the grocery stores to the banks to the fast food to the restaurants, we're going to dive into all that. But it's called Main Street or Johnny Cash, Parkway. And the reason why it's Johnny Cash is because Johnny Cash is actually buried over here. And we'll jump into that a little bit later. But this main road, Main Street right here, this is going to dive into North Gallatin Pike. And that's going to cut all the way through Madison. It's going to cut all the way down to East Nashville. And it's going to cut all the way into Nashville, to downtown Nashville itself. So we zoom out, we can literally see that this main road, the 31 here, is going to cut all the way through. And you could take the freeway. We're going to take this white line right here, and it's going to keep all the way going down to 5 Points right here. And this is going to shoot you straight into downtown Nashville. So just another option for you if you wanted to go the long way, you could go. But I always like taking the freeway, skip all the stoplights. It's going to shoot you right into Hendersonville. So let's dive on in really deep and kind of give you an idea of what Hendersonville has to offer. So like I was saying, you have a lot of commercial stuff. You also have a lot of residential stuff going for you. So we're going to start on the left side of Hendersonville. And you can see here you have like the O'Reilly parts. You have the post office. You have an auto zone. You have a lumber yard. You have like a plumbing supply. You have a pizza place. You're going to have a lot of food options in this downtown Hendersonville area here. You have a Walgreens, a Smoothie King, the Office Depot. You have a Kroger, the Wendy's. Right over here in Hendersonville Memorial Gardens, this is where Johnny Cash is going to be buried. If we dive in, you can see that it's where he's at. And you can see you have a Planet Fitness. You have a bunch of stuff, a Buffalo Wings over here, a Zaxby's, Popeyes. A lot of fast food stuff going for you. A few churches here or there. There's like one right here. There's going to be a few schools. Hendersonville High School isn't too far from here too. If we zoom out a little bit, you'll see that Hendersonville High School is actually going to be on the north side of Hendersonville. It's not too far in, so let's zoom out a little bit and you'll really get an idea. So again, the private club right here, the lake. If you love like going on the water, there's a bunch of options. There's a few marinas that you could choose from, whether it be the center of Hendersonville or it be on the actual lake on the outskirts of the plateau as well. So let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and you can see that all of this commercial stuff is really along this main road, aka Main Street. So as you start going south a little bit more into Hendersonville, you're really going to see that the property becomes more residential versus commercial. And you'll find as you get closer to the water, like I was saying, there's a lot of lake houses, a lot of stuff going for you in the actual cove of Hendersonville here. So you'll see what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my base map from a standard view to a satellite view. And you're going to be able to see, let me zoom in just a pinch, and you'll be able to see that there is right up on the water a bunch of homes. And if we go to the bike, there's a marina right over here, Creekwood Marina, really popular area that you can move to, and a bunch of home options, you know. And let's zoom out a little bit more, and you can see as we get right up in here, all these homes, there's a bunch of lake houses, a few docks right up in here, all these white dots right there, those are all boat docks that people own. Those are private docks for their house. And if we look, you got the elementary school, Indian Lake over here. If you look at my last couple videos on what you can get in Hendersonville from $500,000 up to $700,000 and $700,000 up to $1 million, I'm going to cover Indian Lake Elementary School and really that whole area. There's a lot of stuff going for you right here on the water, like I was saying. So you got Moby Dick's, you got a Hendersonville High School, like I was saying, that's north, right up here. This is Main Street that we're talking about. Hendersonville right up here, and all this area is going to be zoned for Hendersonville High School. There's a lot of options. Hawkins Middle School right on over here. You got the elementary school right down here. Just a lot of stuff going for you in the Hendersonville area. So if you guys found value in this video, as always, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye now.